Um, so Ian and audience, everyone, I feel like I should just give a disclaimer at the top of the show. That I suffer from migraines, and they're pretty bad, And I realized recently I could go to the doctor and like talk to them about that. And so I got this new medication. And earlier in the day, I felt one coming on, and I was like, oh, I should take I should take one, and I did. However, that medication does occasionally have the side effect of making me kind of drowsy, kind of loopy, So if this episode is just the biggest garbage pile any of you have ever heard, blame my doctor.
Oh, is that where I'm supposed to laugh?
Yes,
sorry.
You're supposed to yes and me, you prick.
Oh, sorry. I thought you had I thought you had a punchline of like, but fuck you.
No, it was really. No, I was like, surely Ian will. I've set this up for Ian to knock out of the park.
No, the slam dunk is that his doctor was Dr. Eggman, who we kill in this 3 issue. This is a bad opening. Whatever. Welcome to Sonic Comic Chaos.
This opening, however, is a perfect encapsulation of this show, though, which I feel is fitting for the milestone that we've reached.
Is this a milestone for us as well, or just for Archie?
I mean, I'd say it's a milestone for us, but now okay, wait, let me look at the playlist. What episode number are we on? Because now you got me curious. Hold on. Are you enjoying this, audience?
Okay, so we should do a compilation of the amount of times we say, "Are you enjoying this, audience?"
It's gotta be a lot. Okay, let me think. Okay, so I'm actually behind in updating the playlist. So that would be episode 45. So then we have 2 in the can. If we don't count the DC one, that would be 46 and 47. So this would be episode 48.
Let's go.
No. this is but fuck you, Ian. Anyway, point is, we're here today to discuss. This doesn't really have like a title, does it? Like for the
no,
arc?
It's not really. Yeah, I don't think it has a really like an arc name.
It's the one where they break Eggman's brain.
Yes, the road to 200.
Yeah, and 200. It's a short road. You know what it is? It's like. I would save this joke for later on, but Lord knows I'm not going to fucking remember it. You remember that joke from the 90s where it's like, this is your brain and this is your brain on drugs, and they crack an egg? It's oddly, I mean, Eggman doesn't do drugs. It'd be like, this is terrible. Anyway, that's another compilation we need where we realize a joke we're doing is horrible and we ditch it halfway through. Ian, nice to read your comments. We have a comment that was specifically requested to be read on this episode. Cartoon Bros Toon Channel 1996 left a very nice comment. They said, read for issue 200. Hey guys, congratulations on making it to the 200th issue of Archie Sonic. To celebrate, here are my top 5 favorite moments from Sonic Comic Chaos. I'm going to read this 5-1, so we get to the best moment last. Well, first we have an honorable mention, which is Ace loses it over the original ending to 25 years later. No, that was that broke me. Yep. Number 5, Ian's Groundhog Day tantrum, where we almost canceled the show because of the Groundhog Day
differences.
Yeah. That is a favorite moment of mine because it's so rare that I get to be the agent of chaos on this show.
I went back and listened to it too. It was too much.
Number 4, that Nerf gun I keep in my desk was looking more and more enticing.
That's a good one. That's a really funny.
That's good. I said that, right? That's one
you
of mine.
said that. You said that.
Which one was that on?
I have no idea, but it was really funny.
It was obviously a bad thing. It was probably like a Prime or one of the late stage.
I think it was probably Prime.
It must have been Prime. Number 3, blue streaks. Your dad's gonna die. That was a good one. Number 2, Ace has a thing for Tails' mom. I'm
surprised that one's so high, you know?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's like I just can't think of any like iconic like I'm berating you for it or something. That it's just kind of a casual thing. So I like that they picked a subtle one.
And then number 1 is, of course, Pregnant Tails.
That one's iconic. Yes.
The best thing about Pregnant Tails is that. So I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, audience. Ian and I, on the show, when we get like really angry or like really worked up or whatever, we're kind of playing it up for the show. At the end of the day, the show is meant to be entertainment. Neither one of us really care that much about Sonic. But that was a moment because I discovered it like live on the show, where like you can hear my brain like break as I'm trying to be like, what do I like? It's probably the most genuine reaction I've ever had to something on this show. But yeah, and then they go, thank you guys so much for the podcast. I hope to see more Ian and A shenanigans soon. Well, again, thank you so much, Cartoon Bros. Lovely comment. We look forward to providing more Ian and A shenanigans.
Yeah. And also to add to the idea of obviously us playing up these things. Just to be clear, it's less so much that like, I don't know, we come in with a script and we have ideas of like we need to do this to make it entertaining. Just more so obviously the context of it being a show, of the fact that we're just hanging out, goofing, trying to make each other laugh and stuff. Obviously that elevates everything else to an extreme. But yeah, the emotions that are filtered through that context are real.
Yeah, I would say it's all genuine. It's just like hyperbolized is the best way I would describe it.
Absolutely, because I know people will talk about that a lot with things where it's like, oh, it's just a show, it's just a character, and I feel like sometimes people can hear that and be like, well, I kind of like you because you guys feel real, know. Right. So I don't want to destroy that for anybody.
No,
I do fucking hate Starlines. I just the soliloquies only come out in this context.
That's fair. I guess I would ask you, Ian, do you have any standout moments from the show?
Probably. I mean, Pregnant Tails was a great one.
That's
just because your reaction was so funny. I think just simply, the first time I ever uttered a whoa, and it destroyed you and it killed you, and I try to recreate that magic every time because I just like hearing you laugh. It's funny. So
have we ever given the behind the this episode's gonna be like 3 hours long, fuck it, whatever. Have we ever given the behind the scenes to why whoa killed me so hard that was that not time?
I feel like we captured that live on one of the shows where it happened.
Did we?
Yeah, I feel like it happened once where I just where we were talking about it and you were just like in a fit of laughter, and then I just did whoa and you're like what?
no, but what it was I mean we because that was on our like prime theory crafting one, so that's even before Sonic Comic Chaos. What it was is I had just started my junior year of college, and I had gotten through like a particularly like stressful like study session, and I had taken like one of those like online quizzes that anyone here who's in college or has gone to college, you'll know about those. And I had fucking like flatlined it, so I was like so like emotionally drained going into that recording. And then you hit me with that, and it was just I was just in like the perfect position for that to like just nail me.
To laugh at something just dumb and stupid.
Yeah.
But thanks so much for the comment. It's I never thought I'd get a top 5 of me, so thank you.
Yeah. I guess if I were to give a favorite moment, or a couple favorites, I will say your top 3 Fleetway Sonic characters holding guns is pretty good.
I don't remember that one.
It was where I staged like a walkout of the show, and you're like, well, now that he's gone, let's talk about the Knuckles comic episode. That whole thing is just gold. Like I was so like mad that whole time. There was another one. I'm looking at the playlist now trying to find. There's another. Oh, we have me finding out about that fucking B-rate Winnie the Pooh public domain horror film live on the podcast. Yeah, lots of laughs, lots of fun moments. Hopefully, lots more fun moments to come.
Yeah, we'll have it go as long as possible. I mean, as soon as this is over, I mean, we got Fleetway, we've got all the shows.
Yeah,
we got a lot of Sonic Comic Cast to go.
For sure. And I guess I would ask, audience, if you feel like stroking our egos, post some of your favorite moments in the comments below. We would love to know what's made you guys laugh over the 3 years? Have we been doing this for 3 years?
Dang, 3 years. That sounds about right.
Man. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for the comment. And then from okay, I'm gonna read the person's name after this. This person says, I need Rosemary to side-eye me the way she side-eyes Elias. And now this, again, the concerning part is that this comes from Miles Prower 8583. Dude, that's your mom. What are you doing?
That's your mom, bro.
Yeah. Well, we all know this is just my old account anyway. It's fine. But
fair enough. Then
from The Missing Bits 6375. I always love listening to these podcasts. It's very fun to have in the background while I'm doing stuff. So I guess we're not worthy of being foreground entertainment. It's fine.
The Silver Ace puts so much time finding these mods, and you can't even be bothered to go, whoa, mighty.
But then thank you.
We didn't thank that person. We just bitched at them and moved on.
But they have more. They said, also, why is no one talking about how Aether was just this is from Sonic Adventure 2.5. Why is no one talking about how Aether is just hanging around with all the others on the surface, but he's also still in heaven? Butler must have done a mistake. Oops.
Yeah,
so I guess Aether.
It's got to be a goof.
Yeah, Aether must have been in like a group shot or something because I don't remember him.
Yeah, he's there. I remember someone else pointing that out when they were reading through. They're like, Aether, why is he back? I'm like, that's probably a screw up.
Oh well, to be fair. Not to be that person, but the echidnas do all kind of look the same. So,
oh, absolutely.
And then from Zanderoni, it's either Hedgehog. It's on one of the Scourge ones. They say, oh no, it's definitely Hedgehog Havoc because of what they say here. This is the episode I've been waiting for. Your video on why Archie Sonic is the best Sonic, and your reading of Sonic's speech to Scourge really made me appreciate this arc on a whole other level. Well, I didn't make any videos like that, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. But thanks for the comment anyway.
Thank you. Yeah, no, yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, thank you. Yeah, but with that all out of the way, I think we can hop into this. I would say this will probably be a shorter episode, but I have learned the mistake of saying that long ago.
I guess we'll see.
So we'll see. Yeah, this arc, because it's interesting. This arc is very much it's just kind of a blowout. Like there isn't much there's not much talking. Like
it's a lot of action. Yeah, so we'll get into it.
Yeah, so we start with Sonic the Hedgehog number 198, Fires of the Phoenix.
It is a sick cover. I really love it.
It's a sick cover, and the art inside is pretty fun. The layouts are done by Tracy Yardley, but the pencils are done by oh god, wait, hold on, I gotta zoom in. The text is too small. Renee Delise.
Yeah, and I'm really upset that they because I think they did a few before. I think they might have done Stargazing. I could be wrong though. But regardless, actually no, I don't think they did. But regardless, I really, really love their art style in this. Like I kind of wish more issues had been done by them because it looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks nice. The characters are like kind of off model, but in like a fun way. There's a lot of fun, like cool, like panels in this. There's a panel I particularly like of Sally, where like she's got some leaves blowing by her, and like her hair is kind of flowing in the wind. A lot of good stuff here. But basically, it picks up where we. So when we last left our heroes, Sonic was so offended by the fact that Zonic wouldn't come and take Eggman off to Zone Prison. He was like, "Fine, I guess I'll go deal with him myself." Yeah. This dickhead's not gonna help me. So he does. So there. Okay. I only just now realized that Sally and Rotor are in like a pretty just regular Jeep. It's not like a hover Jeep. It's just a Jeep.
Yeah. They're getting shot at.
Yeah, getting shot at. So that's fun. So yeah, the Freedom Fighters are converging on the Egg Dome. Basically they're like, yeah, you know, we're finishing this. Like we're gonna go, and this is like our final bout against Robotnik, because Enerjack fucked up all his stuff. So like we're never gonna get a better opportunity than this.
Yeah.
And so so we have all our core freedom fighters, and the chaotics too. There's one point where Leonda sucks in this issue. I'm not sure what they're trying to do with her, and I don't remember if this has been like a consistent thing, but she's very much just kind of like ooh, those darn freedom fighters. Like she says blast in this, like unironically, like 3 times. But basically the chaotics like sneak up on her. Yeah, I don't. Am I missing something with Leonda? Because I feel like she just kind of sucks here.
Yeah, I mean, she's mostly just in like just like villain of the week mode, I guess is the best way to put it. Like they just don't use a lot of her character in this issue, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because she's mostly just like, go here, do this, stop them over there. Ah, shit, you know, and then they leave, you know. So it's like you just don't really get much character. Like basically, it could have been anyone in this position, and then that would nothing would change, you know. Which is fine in terms of like the issue itself is like I don't think it's missing anything like that, but it could have enhanced it if like Leonda and her character was used to like do anything, you know, if that makes sense. So I think that's probably what's missing.
For sure. And again,
and I do like Leonda, so I do think that's a missed potential because obviously she's not in the comic all the time. So it does suck that like kind of her greedy, like it would have been cool if like she had like fucked over some of the people, or like she was like, okay, this is part of my plan is I'm gonna do this to fuck over Eggman, and then Eggman shows up and it's like, oh no, he's trying to kill us, you know, like that would show more of her personality. But instead she's just kind of like, oh darn, your sucks, goodbye, you know.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say like, well, she is part of like the plan to fuck over Eggman at the end, but that's mostly Snively's plan. Like she doesn't do much. We'll see more on that later. And again, she sure does love to say blast. Which I get. It's a kid's comic, and so it's like, well, the characters can't swear, so why? Like, normally she'd be like, ah, fuck, like so, but she can't, so she'll say blast. I get it. Yeah. It's fine. It's just funny. But yeah, so they force the Dark Legion to have to pull back, and they're like, all right, well, we're doing good. We get the cool panel of Sally with the leaves blown that I like, and then meanwhile, oh god, what's his name? Nazi robot head. What's his name? Ian, what's his name?
Dimitri.
Dimitri, thank you. Yeah, Dimitri's like, hey, Eggman, help, please. And Eggman's like, and he's basically like, can you send out some more troops? And he's like, no, because Enerjack broke them all. But even if I did have more troops, I wouldn't send them out because I want to go kill Sonic myself. Whoa. And so he gets in the big Egg Phoenix that we saw at the end of the last arc, and he's going to go do some stuff. But before he can do that, before he gets there, there's a great bit where Leonda is like, all right, Dark Egg Legion, open fire on the enemies. Also, I got to say, does the Kingdom of Acorn not have like soldiers?
They do. They just kind of like hang out.
Oh yeah, because they sent like 15 children to deal with all this.
It's like, true, but it's worked before.
I guess. But regardless, so they Leonda's like, all right, Dark Egg Legion, we got him pinned down. Shoot him with all your guns. And then Tails has like this little remote control that disables all their guns. So they're
well, it's actually even cooler because the whole point is that they cut off they use the chaotics to cut them off and like kind of route them back, and then they call them up and they're like, hey, we got done setting everything up. So they purposely led them to this hole, and then like whenever he sets it up or whatever, he clicks the button, these little things pop up out of the ground and they create an EMP around them. So right. So it's really cool that it's really cool that like Tails gets to do stuff where like he has like these cool inventions he's making, he's setting up all these plans, Sally's come up with things. I mean, we'll get to it by the end, kind of what I really like about this issue, but I just really like that, like, there is, like, tactics going on here, and it really feels like our heroes are just kind of dominating, which is fun.
Yeah, it is. It is nice just to see them, like, kind of just plow through, because obviously so much of this comic has been, like, the heroes being kind of miserable. So it is nice that like for this last bit they do kind of get to play on easy mode. Yeah, I don't know, it's fun. But yeah, so they disable their weapons, and Sally's like, "Look, just stop. What are we doing here? Like, this is stupid." But before any of them have the chance to surrender, Eggman comes in on the Egg Phoenix
and tries to kill everybody, including his own soldiers.
Yeah, I think which I think Dimitri points that out at one point where he's like, you know, like, and I think Snively's like, acceptable losses, whatever. But yeah, so everyone scatters, and Sally's like, "Hey, Bunny, you want to help us out?" And she's like, "Nah." She goes like, "Nah, I can't generate another force field, otherwise I'll pass out." It's like, okay, well, why are you here, Bunny?
Well, she's the sack symbol of the group.
She's the what?
And so in the classic Archie Sonic issue, like whatever is in the double digits, they are gathering a bunch of instruments because they want to bring back music to Knothole. And Rotor goes, "What do you do, Bunny?" And she goes, "Well, I'm the sax symbol, hun." So that was a reference I made to that.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's. I feel like so the Egg Phoenix. It shows up. Is this? I guess it's kind of like the Egghawk. I was gonna say, is this a reference to anything? It's kind of like the Egghawk.
I mean, I would assume it's a reference to Sonic Heroes, the Egghawk.
Yeah, but it's not the same design. So
yeah, I mean, it's like the same concept, I would say.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, so back with Snively and Dimitri. He's like, Dimitri's like, oh, he's killing my guys, and Snively's like, I don't care, and he's like, well,
he's killing my guy.
And he's like, well, you should care because I know about your Discord GF.
Because I know that you use OnlyFans and not Egg fans.
What?
He's on OnlyFans and he's talking to his ethot.
Whoa, Ian!
His Discord GF, right?
Yes. Oh my god!
Isn't that not what the kids' lingo is nowadays?
Do you think I know what the kids' lingo is?
True. You didn't know what was it? Aura farming was.
I still don't.
Yeah, I feel like Snively in this moment. I feel like Dimitri when he was Enerjack, he was really aura farming, you know.
Sure, man. I don't know.
Anyway, he says that he knows about some girl.
Yeah, he knows about Snively's online girlfriend. And he's like, I know that you two have been talking about committing treason against Eggman. So like, you better do what I want, or otherwise I can blow the lid off that whole thing. And Snively, I love this moment where Snively goes, "You're an enterprising man, Dimitri. Why tattle on me when we both can benefit from her arrival?"
Yes.
I think that's just a cool Snively moment.
Snively's great just because his whole character is just latching on to whoever the strongest person around him is and just being a conniving little sniveling worm, and he's great, and I love him.
Yeah, he's cool. Anyway, so then we cut back to the heroes. They're getting pinned down by the Egg Phoenix, and they come up with a plan. And I love this plan. Sonic loves the plan too.
Sorry, real quick, I love because this episode really does feel like an episode of a cartoon, because there's like the way the jokes work where there's a part that leads up to this where Sally's like, okay, gather this person, gather that person, I have a plan, and then it just cuts to Sonic. This is my most favorite plan ever.
Yeah.
Like, you could just imagine if it were a cartoon.
Yeah, oh for sure. But yeah, so their plan is, so Eggman's guy's eyes set on Sonic. And so what they do is Vector tosses Sonic up high. And then there's a really cool panel. This whole thing is drawn great. Whenever like the sequence of people throwing Sonic up. That sounded not in like a vor way, like they're throwing him upwards.
Now I'm confused. What the fuck are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Throw the oh. Anyway, yeah, the paneling's real good. There's a sense of speed.
Yeah, how does it feel being on the other end of this, Ian?
No.
They throw Sonic into space, basically. Like they keep tossing him. He gets tossed to Knuckles, who tosses him to Tails, who tosses him to Bunny. You ever seen Iron Man, kids? Ever see the first Iron Man? Or how'd you fix the freezing problem? He does that. Eggman gets too high and the Egg Phoenix stalls out. And so as it's falling, they have their other flyers fly around and put the EMP things on the Egg Phoenix. And the Egg Phoenix is just going right towards Tails. And the range on this thing is definitely shorter than it was shown to be before. Because before they were like up high, they were looking down at them in a canyon. Whereas here, it's flying right towards them. And Sally's like, okay, anytime, Tails. He's like, well, it's got to be in range. And the thing gets like right up next to them. And he's like, all right, I got it.
I think what makes it extra funny is that it doesn't really matter if it's in range. All you have to do, like, because it's not like, oh, you get one button press. Like, Tails, just spam clicking it until he's close enough.
Well, maybe it's one of those things where it's like if he double taps it, it'll turn it back on.
Maybe. Yeah.
All
I'm saying is being real dramatic for no reason. You already got this, bro. You don't have to scare Sally.
Well, you know, he just likes to show off. I respect it. But yeah, so Eggman's like, Team Rocket's blasting off again. And he leaves and he blows up the Egg Phoenix. And we get a cute moment between Sonic and Sally, where Sally's like, all right, that's enough for today. We're gonna set up camp, and then tomorrow we're gonna go in. And he's like, all right, well, I guess it's a full day for you people.
Yeah.
It's just cute. They're fun. And so they erect a little dome around them so they can sleep without being, you know, like carpet bombed. And Eggman, slightly crispy Eggman walks in and is like, hey, we're gonna kill everyone. This is it. I'm done with these fucking furries.
Indeed.
And so then Archie Sonic number 199. Oh god, I'm so zoomed in. Why is it zoomed in so far?
Well, real quick, what do you think of that issue?
It's fun. This whole thing is fun. It's I wouldn't call it a popcorn book because it's not, because it's building on everything that came before it. Like, you get a lot of cool stuff with the characters. I guess it's kind of like what you said. It's like an episode of a cartoon. Like, it's very kind of snappy. Like, it's very action oriented.
Well, what I really like about it is just that it's like we could have just went right into the finale, but I like that we do have this little in between one that I mean, some people I guess could consider it filler, but I like the idea of like they have to like move in, they have to get closer, and like Eggman's still trying to stop them, and it's just like we talked about, it's like a victory lap where it's like Sonic is going to get the issue 200 fight, right? And then issue 199, the characters don't really have to do anything because it's all part of the plan. So I like that Flynn was like, well, I should probably let everybody help defeat one thing, right?
For sure.
So I like that he has this here. So we show like the freedom fighters, like Sonic couldn't just take all of this on its own, right? Like he needs, you know, this thing's flying around, it's attacking or whatever, it's real strong. So he has to be used as the bait, which kind of, again, is once again kind of showing how like, you know, the characters revolve around him in the sense that they push him where they need him to be, and then they all like do their part, and like Tails has his thing, and Sally comes up with the plan, and like the characters have to like to work together to like get him up there and do that stuff. So I don't know, it just feels really cool. And then obviously our characters will still have to defend themselves in the next issue, but like it feels like they actually all had to overcome something as like a team, which is really good. And also just like the paneling, just super good. Again, this is something to where it's like in IDW, not to like dunk on that series for too long, but just the idea of like a lot of what people really enjoy about that, just kind of to give context, a lot of what people really enjoy about that story is like it's a lot of action, or it's a lot of like just hanging out with the characters. And I would enjoy that more, I think, if like the comics paneling and like the flow of it felt more like this, or like the characters are just being really snappy, everyone's just talking to each other really quick, and like there's a lot of just like action that is sold through the paneling. Like you really feel like when they're throwing Sonic up that he is just launching. It's a boom, it's building, and then when it comes down and they win and stuff, it just feels really big and climactic and fun. And especially with the fact that they do have this artist who is kind of going off model a lot of the time and like really like stretching the bodies and the proportions and the expressions and stuff. And that makes it really fun. And that's kind of all the stuff that if IDW was to do what it seems to want to do, outside of when it's working with the OCs and really trying to tell stories with them, I would enjoy that more if it had more of this energy. So that's just kind of my thing for it, because we really didn't have too much to say about it, and I kind of want to give context to it's like, yeah, and I really still loved it because it just has that energy to it. It has that soul to it that I really enjoy. So yeah, that's about it.
I guess if I would say anything negative, and it's not less about that issue and more about kind of the whole thing, and maybe it's the point, I don't know. If we are trying to sell this as like Sonic and Eggman's final battle, like, this is the end of the war, the freedom fighters are taking their last stand and they're doing their charge on the Eggman Empire, it does kind of feel like it's lacking a bit of gravitas. I guess, I don't know, I say how there's not a lot of moments of just like sitting and talking, and there's a couple moments, there's some brief moments where people are like, I think there's one with like Sally and Sonic, and I think there's another couple where people are like, this is it, like one way or another, this ends today. But I guess like it doesn't feel like you don't feel like you really have like your Avengers Endgame moment, where it's like, oh yeah, it's all been leading to this, like, whatever it takes, we're gonna do this.
Yeah. However, I guess that is kind of definitely intentional.
Right. I get, because the thing is
the ending is entirely like, oh, well, that was a badass cool fight we had, and I don't feel good about that. Also,
right.
What do we do now? So.
I think because I think that might be, and yeah, I would agree. I think part of it is the point, because ultimately this story, part of the kind of the bit of this, the point of the story is that all this big epic battle across 200 issues has all culminated in us beating up a mentally ill man.
Yeah, well, because Eggman has been lost. He really lost during 177, and he's just kind of been picking up losing all the pieces that remained since. And this is basically just our final tink, and then he explodes.
Right.
So, but yeah, we'll get to it. But I definitely I think what feels good about it is that also you have to take into consideration like all of the, I don't know, you're not even saying this like a major negative. It's just something that you felt. Before this, we also had Enerjack, and then we also had to deal with like Mogul and then Scourge, and we've kind of been wrapping those things up. So I definitely feel like it also is building off that momentum of like, we're wrapping up all our villains, we're finally on top, Yeah. And so like when it undercuts that, because it is just kind of, when we get to issue 200, it is just kind of Sonic just mowing down Eggman without really too much hassle, and just kind of him telling him, Eggman, you suck, you're never going to win, you're a loser. That does feel good on that cathartic level of, this is issue 200, Sonic's just beating him down, and then Flynn flips that on its head. So I definitely think it's intentional. But yeah, no, it'll be interesting to talk about. But yeah,
we'll get to that more later. One last thing on 198 I forgot to mention. There's just a fun character bit where Eggman is like, Snively, Dimitri, assemble the Dark Alliance, and they go, do you mean Dark Legion? He's like, whatever. I just thought that was fun. Yeah, 199. First of all, cool cover. This is this image is pretty synonymous with Archie Sonic. Like the top half of it with Sonic and all the guys in the background. And I've only just noticed that a certain character is lurking in the background.
Yeah, it's a really cool cover.
Yeah. And then on the bottom you got all the villains. It's fun. I like it. Yeah, so we open up on the Egg Dome. Or outside the Egg Dome in their little thing. And we find out that they've set up a Twitch stream of them kicking Eggman's ass. Basically, their thing is like, look, we want the people back home to know what happens. Like either we win and then they know we won, or we lose and then they know they should probably get the fuck out of Dodge.
Well, and I will say, if there's any negative I have, is that we don't really come back to this at all. Because I feel like it's never really like, I mean, we do bring it up of like they hear that they won. But I do wish there was a little more brought up of the fact that like the people watched them leave Eggman behind, and maybe that had like any amount of like discussion. But it doesn't really come up. So
yeah,
that's unfortunate.
I imagine in like if this were like a movie or whatever, or even a comic, you'd maybe have a moment where like the heroes are on the ropes and you cut back to their home and you see like the people watching. You also don't really see, like, from what I recall, you don't really see like major characters. Like I know you see Ash and Mina kiss at one point. But like Sonic says, "Hi, Mom." Here,
yeah, and you'd think his mom would be on screen. Yeah.
Well, whatevs.
Whatever.
But so they're basically like, We do get our Avengers Assemble moment though, where Sally goes, "Freedom fighters, chaotix, let's take down the Eggman Empire." And so we cut inside, and Leon says something effective like she's ordering people around. She goes, "This plan makes no sense, but whatever. I guess that's what we do." It's very much like if you've ever worked a job where your boss is telling you some dumb shit, and you're like, "Whatever you say, man."
Yeah, I just work here.
Yeah. And Dimitri's like, "All right, well, we gotta follow the plan." And she's like, "That's why," and she goes like, "Yeah, we are following the plan." And he's like, "No, the real plan." Dun dun dun. But yeah, basically, he's like, "Yeah, we just gotta stick to it, and everything will work out fine." And so we get inside, everyone's throwing down, and we get a fun reference to. We get a series of references to Sonic Endgame. And Ian, I feel like you wrote these.
Really?
Well, because they're all about people being like, "Yeah, we really didn't do much in Endgame, did we?"
Yeah, and again, that's where it feels like a nice victory lap of just like, because again, regardless, like none of the other freedom fighters are like fair game for Sonic. So like they are like being shot at and like supposed to be like killing them if possible. So they are fighting back, in that sense. And it's just kind of fun to just see them just all kick ass, and it's like not even a problem anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bit where, because Tails is like, "Oh, me and Amy, we were just prisoners." That was lame. And then Bunny and Antoine are like, "Yeah, we were in Down Under, and then we didn't destroy the beam before it fired on Knothole."
She killed all of you.
Yeah, and then Sally's like, "And I was dead."
Yeah, which is good. I mean, and again, regardless of any of the other stuff, like I just love the art, like for all their expressions and just how much fun they're having. Because I just love this cast, and I like seeing them even enjoying it too.
Yeah. And then
I think Bunny literally says where they're like, "Oh, that seems pretty easy." It's like, well, we've worked really hard. I think we've deserved an easy win once in a while.
Yeah. And then we get a moment where I don't know exactly how I feel about it. Or Vector's like, "Hey, you feel weird?" He's talking to Julie, so he's like, "Oh, you feel weird fighting your old comrades?" And she's like, "I haven't worked for them for a long time, my dude." And he's like, "Well, yeah, you're still part robot though, bitch." And then it all culminates in them like covering for each other and being like, "Oh, well, thanks for saving my ass, but like, let's not do that again." It's like, on the one hand, it's like, I get that's their dynamic. Like they bicker, but they got each other's backs and like they're friends or whatever. But like, I think it's mainly the way they do it with him being like, "Well, you're still part Dark Legion." Like, I don't know. It feels like maybe we should be past that, but also like whatever.
To be fair, he still mocked her when she was a radio. So
that was funny though.
No, what I'm saying is, there's precedent that he still likes messing with her over it.
For sure.
Yeah, I could see it not clicking for some people. I thought it was fun, but I get you. Yeah.
And then I've never noticed this, but there's a bit where Espio and Mighty are pinned down, and Mighty is curled up. He looks like a jelly bean.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And then the kids come in and save them, and Espio and Mighty are like, "Oh, we're proud of them. They're cool."
Indeed.
And then they keep doing this where they're like, "Hey," and then Julie Sue's like, "Hey, are you sure you're okay fighting these guys?" And it's like, well, it's like most of what Knuckles has done in this continuity is fight other echidnas. Like, I think he'll live.
Well, he just means extra now that he feels real guilty about it, because that was his whole plot point before.
Oh yeah, because he was Enerjack and he killed a bunch of people. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say his whole guilty conscience thing has been recently that he wants to save these guys. So it makes sense, especially since the last thing we had on the update for Knuckles' storyline was him kind of accepting like, okay, like I'm kind of messed up. I don't really know how I feel about these things, but I'm gonna do what I have to do. So I think it makes sense to check out on it because we hadn't actually resolved it,
for sure. And then he gets blocked. They get blocked off by Dimitri. We cut back to Snively and Leonda. And there's a weirdly out of pocket moment from Snively. He's like, "Oh, I'm preparing for my Discord GF's arrival." and I've got some cologne on. It's a nice scent. And she's like, oh God, that smells awful. Like, how can you stand that? And he goes, yeah, one more thing you animals will never understand about my kind.
I love him. What a guy.
What the fuck?
Anytime, because Flynn will do this a lot. Anytime, like, in this universe, the characters just get to be openly racist to each other, it's fucking hilarious.
I guess it's just like
when you translate it to reality.
Well, there's that, but it's also like they don't really do that though. Like,
well, the Overlanders hate like the animal people. That's been consistent.
I guess, yeah.
And also, he just fucking hates them anyway. So the fact he's just like, you fucking dogs. Whatever.
Yeah, it's just like, whoa, dude. What?
Whoa, Snibbly.
You put your whole chest into that. Like,
dude, he did. He's got a GF coming over. She's finally coming to the house. She flew all the way from her country.
It's like those old teen movies. It's like, I got to get dad out of the house. I got to get dad to have his mental breakdown so she can...
we gotta put Sugar Mama to sleep, so we can all have a house party.
Yeah.
I miss Proud Family.
That's the I have not seen Proud Family in a long time.
She got to meet Stitch.
She did. Man, that new Lilo and Stitch movie is gonna be such ass. I can like. Why do you keep doing this? Like,
because it makes money.
Yeah. Anyway, regardless, Snow White didn't make money.
Oh, true. Well, Lilo and Stitch will, because it's a Lilo and Stitch, and it's actually just still holds up for most people. So I think it'll do well. I mean, here's the thing. To wrap this up, unless you had something to say to it, the best thing about all these live action movies, and why I'm fine with it at the end of the day, is that it gets new people to watch the original so they can make reaction videos, and it causes people to make analysis videos of these old movies, which keeps them relevant for me. So that's nice.
That is nice. The good thing I think about those live action movies is that so anyway, they're in the hallway and they're pinned down by laser fire, and so Sally starts going like, all right, well, we'll figure this out. Like, they do like a team huddle. And then Sonic's like, oh, hey, Sally, they ran away. And they're like, what? Why would they do that?
Yeah.
And then Dimitri's like, hey, how are you, Knuckles? Are you a bitch? Are you gonna make me move if I don't move? And he's like, yeah, I will. He's like, all right, bye. He leaves.
So I actually really like the scene, because Dimitri's whole thing has always been that he rejects Knuckles a lot. And he doesn't want to ask for help, which is obviously a big thing for a lot of these characters, but especially for like the echidnas, who are very prideful. So Dimitri, like, showing up, because he doesn't have to do this. None of this matters to the plan. So it just means that he just wanted to check up on Knuckles and see how he was doing. And so, like, whenever he says, like, he's like, oh, will you make me move? And Knuckles is like, yes, I will. And which obviously fulfills Knuckles' arc of like, no, I'm willing to fight you guys. I have to do what I got to do. It's for your own good. And whenever he says, like, he's like, huh, I guess, my the spirit of my brother lives within you. Good luck, Knuckles, or good luck, Guardian. I really like all that stuff. That's a lot. That's like a purely character motivated scene for Dimitri. And I just really like that for his character, because obviously Dimitri's whole thing is that he's trying to, he joined Eggman so he could gain power, but he also wanted to undermine Eggman so then he could, take over after the fact. And also he just hates Eggman. Eggman slaughtered a bunch of his people. But I like that he still has some investment in Knuckles, because Knuckles is part of his family. And so him being like, oh no, it seems like my brother still is in you. He's like, well, good luck, nephew. Or, yeah, he says nephew. I don't know. I really like that. So
yeah, it is nice. It's a nice moment. So they get to a hole. There's just like a big wall of garbage, and there's a hole in it. And they're like, what's going on here? And SBO comes out of it, and he's like, it's a bottleneck. He says it's a bottleneck and an invitation. He's basically like, if we went through here, any one of us, if we went through here, we'd be pinned down. We'd have to like scatter. It'd be bad. So it's like he's calling you out, Sonic. Like you're supposed to spin dash through there, get right to him, and go fight him. And we could talk. We'll get to that in a moment. So Sonic's like, all right, well, I guess I'll go do it. And Sally's like, what? No, don't do that. He's like, look, I'll go fight Eggman. You guys will start taking down the wall. You'll get to me as soon as you can, and we'll all finish it together. And so we just get like a nice page where like Sally hugs him and is like, "Hey, you be careful." And Knuckles and him are like, "Yeah, well, yeah." Knuckles is like, "Hey, save some of it for us." And he's like, "Ah, yeah, I will." He's like, Tails, like you help them out, all right. And there's even a cute moment with Amy where Amy like gives him a kiss on the cheek, and is like, "Hey, yeah, I love you, Sonic." And he's like, "Amy, thanks."
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. And he's like, "All right, I'm heading in. Like, see you on the other side." And he goes through, and it's great because okay, I guess we'll talk about it now. I'm a little confused how much of this is Snively's plan and how much of this is Eggman's plan. Because clearly Eggman, the idea of like, oh, Sonic's mine, I'm going to take him down one-on-one. Clearly, some part of that is like Eggman's intention. I'm wondering, like,
that's all Eggman's plan. Snively's plan is just, all right, cool. Now that that's happening, we're gonna take over as soon as he gets defeated. Basically, Snively's whole plan is just basically like, at the end, whenever he like convinces them to leave Eggman with him. But yeah, it's basically just that like they are not. I guess to put it a better way would be that obviously if Eggman was just Eggman, hopefully they would believe that Eggman's going to beat Sonic because they're evil bad guys. But that's not what's happening in the story. They're like, Eggman's just going to fucking lose. He's a stupid idiot. What do we do? And Simply's like, don't worry, bro. I've already set up new management. We just have to watch. So just don't get in the way, basically. We've got, because like, think about it. If they didn't know about any plan, they would just be fighting tooth and nail against the freedom fighters and all that stuff. And I guess we just have to go down with the ship. Snively's just saying, guys, don't worry. Once this is over, we have other things we're going to be doing, which is good for him because if like, obviously it seems like he wasn't going to tell them in the first place, but now it works out way better for him because now if the Iron Queen shows up, they're not like, who the fuck is this?
Right.
So
for sure.
Yeah. So that's but locking Eggman in a room with Sonic is all Eggman's plan.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, then why I was saying that is because when Sonic comes through the hole, the Dark Egg Legion soldiers just kind of stand there. They like salute.
Yeah, I like the salute though, because that to me definitely reads as more like just them being like, "Do it, Sonic." I absolutely think that's what's going on.
That's great. I love that interpretation. Yeah, so we come back to Snively and the others, and he's like, "All right, everyone, go do your stuff. Go take care of the other freedom fighters." And he goes, "I'll join you shortly. I need to oversee the last moments of the Eggman Empire," which is cool. And then Sonic is like, "Okay, so there's a big metal room with one door going in, and seemingly no one in there. That's probably a trap, right?" And he goes in, and he goes like, "Oh, no repeat of your armor from last time." And we see Eggman's got a big spider.
Yeah. Which I am glad that because I mean obviously the interpretation, like I've always had this interpretation, but it's nice to have it basically confirmed, which is that Eggman built that robot to beat Sonic, so why does he just build it again and again and again, right? And we've seen like characters asking like, why don't you just build another Metal Sonic, or why don't you just blah blah blah, and it's because Eggman like he lost, so he's just like, okay, I'm gonna make a new thing to prove that I'm superior and I can defeat all the freedom fighters and blah 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 blah. So he's not gonna make the same robot twice because of his ego. But I do like that at least in universe they're like, oh, you didn't just make the robot that beat me again. He's like, no, fuck you. So
I will say though, a couple things I didn't really notice until this go around. It's like, oh yeah, this was actually a really bad idea because we've seen that Eggman can beat Sonic one-on-one. So like he's very lucky that Eggman's ego kept him from just making another one of those suits.
Well, and that's why I think it's that's what I was gonna bring this up. I think it's cool that a lot of the comic has consistently been about teamwork, and that's how they beat Eggman last time. Sonic didn't even do anything, right? So I like that the inverse of that for this round is that Sonic is like, hey, no, I'm not going in as like oh, I have to be the one. I trust that you guys will get there if I need you. And I like that this time he just doesn't need them. He actually just one-on-one just fucking wins.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool inverse of that idea. And obviously Eggman's crazy, but like he's still like putting up like an actual like genuine fight in terms of like all the different things Sonic has to dodge and move around. Like the robot is formidable, but Sonic is just in his element. He's in the zone, and he's basically using the same tactics that Eggman used to beat him, which is to beat him down mentally and verbally. But I just like that Flynn very rarely has it that characters just win one-on-one. He very much like, I mean, it's the Freedom Fighters, they're a whole team, right? So he very much likes to lean into that aspect of like, no, like you need a team effort. And I like that just for this one time, Sonic just wins on his own.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, that's a fair point. He's like, look, if he's got a robot in there, I can't be alone. I'll just not die long enough for my friends to come and help me out.
Yeah, well, and again, if that was the case, like they do just open the door by the end. They're like, oh, I guess he already won, right? So it's like they would have came in and helped, But he won this time, So
also, I'm sure it's a coincidence, but I choose to believe that the spider boss in Sonic Mania is a reference to this thing.
I mean, it's very, very similar looking.
Yeah. And also this final line where he goes, oh, you won't leave, Eggman goes, you won't leave this room alive. And Sonic goes, big words, big man, let's go. Yes. That's just such a 2000s Sonic line. Like I can so clearly hear that in Jason Griffith's voice.
Oh yeah, no, well you can hear like the music like hitting its crescendo as like the credits or something.
Yeah, as it gets to as it fades black and the boss fight comes in. Yeah, big 06 energy here. But and then it's the big one. It's issue 200.
Let's go. Which is a big deal. That's a lot of years.
It's a lot of years.
You only get 12 a year, so
yeah. Well, there's a little message from the editors at the end of this, so we'll get to that though. But so, and also the cover's great. It's this is Spaz. They make a point to say like, yeah, Spaz has drawn like all of our milestone covers for a long time, and he's great.
Yep. He continues to do so. I think he does every single one. So
yeah, he draw. It looks great. You got Eggman in the background with his glowing eyes. He looks cool. You got Knuckles shoved down in the corner. Poor guy. Yeah, and then they'll later homage this cover in Scourge Lockdown, I think.
Yes.
So that's fun.
Yep.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I didn't mention last issue. The title was Knocking on Eggman's Door. And this one is called Turnabout is Fair Play. Okay, I got the reference from the title last issue. What the fuck is this one referencing?
Well, Turnabout is Fair Play is just a real thing.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Well,
let's look it up.
Famous segment of Ian and Ace Bing.
Turnabout is Fair Play. Turnabout is fair play is an idiom that means it's justifiable to retaliate against someone who has wronged you by doing something similar to them, or taking turns or alternating actions is fair. So I guess it's kind of leaning into the idea of that where Eggman broke Sonic during his fight, or tried to. Sonic now breaks him in this fight. So it's kind of like a dark version of that.
Ooh.
Turnabout is fair play.
Nice. But he's like, Eggman is like, I've been dealing with your shit for too long. It's no more. I'm like, he says, 15 years. You've been a thorn in my side. And it's funny because they don't say, and it's not really important, so I don't think they need to say it. But they don't go like, man, that wasn't even you. That wasn't even me. Like, what are we doing here? Like, but Eggman just like rants at him for a bit. He's like, I'm the most brilliant person in the world, and I say because I say so, and I conquer the planet. So what I say is law. And yeah, in Sonic's like, yeah, dude, you conquered the planet when I was like 5. Like, and then and then he's like, yeah, dude. Also, like, you died. Like we took that shit back, and you fucking died. And he's like, well, I came back. And he's like, yeah, and then your city got nuked by missiles, and now Nate Morgan's fucking remains powers our city. Like,
Sonic, that's fucked up. Why'd you say that, bro? I don't know.
Why'd you say that? But yeah, and then and so then they just fight for a bit, and Sonic just mocks him. And Eggman's like, well, I control the entire world. And he's like, well, I mean, there's a lot of the world you don't control, and like even the parts you do control. Your control is kind of shaky. So, like, yeah, I mean, I guess you get to control the planet if you call, like, having to fight tooth and nail every second of every day control.
It's the exact reverse of 175, which is great.
Yeah. And there's a great scene where he lands on top of the window of the egg spider, and he goes, I've beaten you before, Eggman, a lot, and I'll do it again. And then they just fight the thing, and Eggman is just slowly becoming more and more unhinged, where he's like, he just starts spouting like nonsense where he's like, no more games, game over, end him. And And so they go back and forth for a bit, and it's not quite as one-sided as I remember. Eggman does get a few good licks in, but yeah, and ultimately what happens is we see at the bottom there's just like one big joint. There's like it is this is truly just like a video game boss battle. There's just like a big glowing weak spot on the bottom that you hit when you get the thing to flip over. So what Sonic does is he gets it to follow him up, and he knocks it down, and he just like ricochets between the walls, and he cuts off all the legs. And it's cool. And again, throughout this whole thing, he's just becoming more unhinged. She goes like, "No, stay back, lose, die," like, which is great. And then finally, Sonic just completely dismantles the thing, and he goes, "I hate that hedgehog."
And we get probably my favorite Eggman panel in anything, which is that he cries.
Yeah, he cries. Like we just see like the moment where he just like shatters. Where he's crying, he's drooling, he's spitting, and you just see in the reflection Sonic just wrecking his shit. But also, I should mention for people who don't know, the I Hate the Hedgehog is a Sad AM reference. It's fun.
I mean, really, especially if you like Sad AM, it really is surreal to have like, I mean, because like obviously Flynn is kind of like, I'm doing Endgame but good. Sorry, fuck you, Ken Bender. And he's right. So, because Endgame was basically like the feeling of like the finale of of Sad AM. All the characters. It's the classic Robotnik and all that stuff. And so I like that he's carrying on that spirit in this modern interpretation. So.
Well, and speaking of carrying on that spirit, when Eggman falls out of the robot, his glasses fall out, and you see that much like in Sad AM, his eyes are black and red.
Yeah, it's like, it's so cool. I'm so glad they decided to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. But anyway, and then Sonic has a bit where he goes like, "I'll leave the speeches about winning the day and conquering evil to Sally, and I'll be content with nah, and I win," which is great.
Yeah.
And then Eggman just starts losing his shit. Like he's just like flailing around on the ground. He rips his mustache off. Yeah. Like, and then Sally comes in. And she's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" Like, that's the look on her face is just like, "What did I walk into?"
Yeah. She's like, "Sonic, what did you do to it?"
Yeah. And he's like, "I just beat him like always." And Snivelly's like, "Nah, man, you didn't just beat him, you broke him." And he's like, "Look, he's a genius. He can build robots. He can take over the world. He can do all this stuff, but he could never beat like a stupid fucking blue hedgehog. And he couldn't handle losing to you one more time."
He's been losing it since 177.
Yeah. And so I was like, and so Stanley's like, "Look." And so Sally goes like, "So what now?" And he was like, "You go home," and he still was like, "Fine, you go home and celebrate, and you leave my uncle to me. You won."
Which, by the way, the way Snively like plays this is really smart. He like fucking plays them like a fiddle. Right. Like he completely like guides the conversation. Like, "Oh yeah, he's so great, but not compared to you, and it's just sad what happened. But it is what it is." And they're like, well, shit. What? It's like, no, you go home. You won. You're victorious. And it's like nobody stops to be like, "Oh wait, we should probably arrest him too."
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, because like, and even in my notes I wrote like, "Don't leave him with Snively. What the fuck are you doing?" But I think I'm more forgiving of it here than I am in something like IDW for a couple reasons. First of all, obviously I'm a blind Archie Sonic fan and IDW hater. But second of all,
indeed,
if you look at it from like the realistic lens, like again, these are children. Like the oldest people in this group are probably like what, 20? Like these are kids who went in here and just watched a man's mind shatter in front of them. And so I can imagine them being like, "Oh, okay, I guess we'll leave then."
I mean, I can break it down further. I don't even think you need to do the kid card. Like, you watch entirely their reaction, which is that the big thing that I always have a complaint with IDW Sonic is that he is too self-aware. He is too aware of his actions. If Sonic just does these things and they have consequences, then it is what it is, and then you deal with it and you grow and learn. In this context, there is no point where we go into Sally's head and she goes, "Well, I guess at the end of the day, he has been defeated, and isn't that victory enough?" No, she doesn't think anything. She is completely flabbergasted. And they're all just like celebrating, and nobody thinks about it. So like in the story, it is legitimately that they are just so caught up in like what's going on, this weird scenario, and just the fact they won, they don't think about it. And that's it. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. And that's why. And then in the story, they do say like, oh, that was a stupid idea. And that goes into Sally's character, and she'll acknowledge that, and we'll do stuff with that. But yeah, it makes perfect sense. And also, if they were to do anything about it, then fucking Snively goes, oh, oops. And then he runs off, and he gets away because Sonic's not going to chase after him. And then they lock the door and nothing changes. Like nothing crazy happens if they do decide to do it. Like, it's not like, oh, everything would have changed, so they just would have arrested Snively. He would have been fine. He would have got away or whatever. But regardless, no, I think it's really cool how you watch Snively manipulate the conversation, and you watch their body language and how they act and all these things. It is just something that slips their mind given the circumstance. The thing that makes IDW so annoying is that the characters do know why they're doing these things, and they're bad reasons. So that's my defense for it, because I don't even think you need to defend it because they don't even think about it. So but it's definitely something to where it is a dumb thing that they did. But yeah, that's intentional. That's all part of the story, and it'll come back, and it's really interesting how they do it. So no, I really love that moment. Especially just for Snively's character of how he's always playing the victim, and he kind of sells it the best here. So
well, and it's a nice moment too where everyone's just like, oh shit, we won. Like we won. Like you see Sally, she opens up Nicole and she's crying, and she was like, hey, did you get that? And she's like, yeah, everyone back home is celebrating. One nitpick I will give, though, I think this bit of them cutting back home would have been more effective if they had shown characters we know.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they show Mina, and that's about it. So
yeah, they show Mina and Ash, but I think it'd be cool if you had like a page where it was just like, oh, we see Uncle Chuck and we see Sonic's parents, or we see Elias or whatever. Like,
yeah, I think it's very weird they don't do that. And also, this is where, to the point of like, maybe people, more adults in the room would notice these things. I think that is where it's like, well, you recorded the fact that Snively just said go home and you guys didn't arrest him, So I feel like that could have come up more, or come up at all, So,
but anyway, yeah. And so then Sonic's like, so Sonic's walking away, and Tails and Amy are like, "Whoa, dude, you were so cool! Like, you got to the barricade and you beat Eggman." And they're like, and Sonic's like, "Yeah, I guess." And they're like, "Hey, are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Like, let's go home." I really do like this because I think it's very much one of those things where I don't because it doesn't feel like Sonic's like, oh man, I have so much sympathy for Eggman, and like, oh well, Eggman's bad, but he's a human being, and oh, did he really deserve that? It's like, no, he's just like a guy who just watched a man have a mental breakdown in front of him. He's like, oh, that was
also the kind of, it's like I guess like the not the best way to put it, but it just might be something like I don't know, like let's say you have to defend someone and you don't like violence, right? But like someone's like, I don't know, picking a fight or whatever, and you can't break it up. So you like punch that guy, right? And he stops and he goes away. And then you're like, oh shit, what? I don't feel good about that though.
Yeah.
I don't like inflicting violence. Obviously, Eggman's different. Sonic is fine beating the shit out of him. But he didn't want to like watch him cry and turn into a baby.
Yeah.
And so, that sticks with him. And he's like, I don't know. I feel like a bad person, even though I didn't do anything.
Yeah. For sure.
So yeah, which is cool. It's a weird experience, I'm sure. So,
but yeah, and then at the end they go. There's a cute moment with Sonic and Sally where she literally goes, "Hey you," and they go back and forth. He's like, "I didn't know." He's like, "I didn't expect it to end like this." And like, what am I supposed to do now? And she's like, "Well, you'll figure it out. Moving on. Fulfilling your duty and being able to move on to new things. That's a good thing." Like.
Well, she says she speaks in his language. She says it's an adventure of its own.
Yeah.
I guess.
And then we get a panel of everyone driving off back to Metropolis. I only just now realized if you look up in the corner, I think you can see the Iron Queen arriving.
Yep. Man. This would be on my CinemaSins ding. Wow, it sure is convenient that Rotor did not install reverse mirrors so they could see the Iron Queen.
Yeah.
Rearview mirrors. That's the word.
Also, I'm just gonna be an annoying shipper for a second and say, God, it's so fucking annoying that Sonic and Sally aren't just together, because like the couples are all together here. Like I guess Antoine and Bunny kind of aren't, but like they're together enough, and like Julie, Sue, and Knuckles are kissing, and Charmy and Saffron are up together. It's like, yeah, it'd be great if they could maybe be cute too. That'd be nice. But I guess they did get their cute moment in the thing above. So whatever. I'm being annoying. Shut up, me. Anyway. So we cut to Eggman. He's in a padded room. He's wearing a straitjacket. And Snively is like looking through the door, taunting him. And then we cut out. It's Sibley standing on a step stool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Look through the window. And he's like, "Oh, good, my girlfriend's here." And Dimitri's like, "Dude, if you ended up fucking us over, we are gonna be real mad." And he's like, "Calm down, Dimitri. Like, your loyalty will be rewarded.
Calm down, Dimitri. You're ahead.
You're ahead. No matter the score, he's always ahead."
Ba-dum-ba.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, everyone, it's meet your new master, the Iron Queen."
And then everyone resoundingly said, "Who?"
Yeah, apparently she's been in something before.
Yep, she is in one issue.
That's so Flynn.
I love it.
Yeah, so she shows up and she's got some characters who we will see later. And then we have a fun editor's note where they're like, "Hey, you know, we have the longest running video game comic series, and we're 76 issues away from the longest running licensed comic series," which, hey, they'll get that, which is cool. And he's like, "Oh, you know, we're happy that you're here, and we're happy for all the people we've been working with, and thanks." And man, it's always so sad reading these when well, I guess it's not, because like ultimately, first of all, they did still get a lot more issues after this.
Oh yeah.
And like my thing I was thinking was like, because in my brain when I was doing this, I was like, "Oh, they just barely didn't make it to 250." It's like, well, no, they did. They just this continuity didn't make it to 250. But whatevs. Yeah. Overall, yeah. And then that's that for this story. And hey, you know what? I said it would be short, and by our standards, this is short.
Yeah, we did pretty good.
Yeah, I guess, Ian, any final thoughts?
No, I mean, I really like it. I like the fight a lot. The paneling's quite good. There's some really cool paneling just throughout. In terms of like you can always follow Sonic really easily, which is really cool. And it just feels really punchy and impactful. And Eggman's breakdown is just something really, really fascinating. And yeah, it's just really, really, really strong and really, really cool. I guess, which do you prefer, 175 or this? And you can include like the kind of the aftermath. So like you include the build up to 200 and then the aftermath of 175. So up to 177.
Oh, 175. No contest. Like this is fun. Like again, this is good. But again, I think what because 175 is like, that feels kind of more like our big, like, oh shit, we're doing the big fight with Eggman. Whereas this is, again, we went and we beat up a mentally ill man.
Yeah, like, it's definitely very interesting. It just does basically, like, I would say, like, in a good way, 175 through 177 kind of gives you everything you want as like a fan of like this cool idea of Sonic versus Eggman. And then this is kind of like a subversion of that. You still get a cool fight, but by the end of it, you don't really feel good about it, which I think has like a lot of really cool value. I really love it. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm always going to prefer kind of like that catharsis of not only Eggman winning his fight with Sonic, but then the way in which Sonic wins, where he relies on all his teammates or whatever. That's just really, really powerful. And it feels like it really ushers in like this new era. Whereas this one, it's about like uncertainty. It's about like what's going to happen. Like that wasn't exactly how expected. But the way in which it's unexpected is really, really cool. So I guess what I would say is that 175 through 177 feels like a punctuation point, and then 200 actively feels like it's like, oh, that wasn't the end. There's still more to come. Where's this going to go? Right. And both of those have their values, but I'll definitely prefer 175 over that. So, but yeah, I quite enjoyed it. So
yeah, I really liked it too. Yeah, I think I mostly gave all of my thoughts during the recap, so I don't think I have too much more to say.
What are we doing next time?
Good. But yeah, when next we return, I think we'll be doing our first pre-boot Sonic Universe story. So that's fun. That'll be extra fun because it includes an issue I've never read, which is that Sonic X issue. I feel like we should probably cover that one too because it's the same shadow that goes from Hedgehog Havoc to the Sonic Universe.
Oh yeah, no, you have to include it because it has some pretty important stuff in it. So
well, I never read it, so
yeah.
Well, so I guess I'll find out what that important stuff is. But yeah, until next we return, Ian, plug something.
I'm Ian Waffles. You can find me on YouTube and Twitter at the same name. Thanks for having me as usual.
Yep, I'm Sorace1. You can find me here. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky. Am I anywhere else? Nope. Yeah. Then thank you as always for listening, and come back next time for the next thing. And bye.
Bye.